Hi guys, welcome back to 7600 Podcast with your host Madison. And this episode will be part 2 to the part 1 episode about the realities of being in your 20s. And if you haven't watched part 1, ew, that sounded ugly. If you haven't watched part 1, I suggest you go do that because you won't really know what's going on. So, yeah. But I wanted to do the part 2 because in part 1 I felt like I was getting the video was getting a little longer and I had more to say. So that's why we're here with part 2. So, yeah, so to continue from part 1, I was talking about the realities of being in your 20s, especially in today's society, because the world my parents grew up in is not the world the world my parents were in their 20s is not the world that is happening today while I'm in my 20s. So, yeah, everything is completely different. So that's why I said in today's world, like the realities of today's world, because that's what I know. I don't know 20s back then. I wish I did, but I don't. I feel like I wasn't really made for this generation. I feel like I was made to, you know, have a different life. Like not not the superficial BS that we see in today's society. I feel like I wasn't meant to be in that world, but God doesn't make mistakes, so clearly I'm here for a reason. So, yeah. But but so I don't miss anything. Let me look at my notes, child. Okay, so okay. I want to start off with talking about when it comes to being in your 20s, obviously you're young and you're in one of the youngest stages of your life other than teenage years, but once you're in your 20s, you're an adult. Really 18, but you're not an adult at 18. Like you're legally an adult, but mentally you ain't there. You know, there are people in their mid 20s, late 20s who don't really feel like adults. It was so funny. This guy on TikTok, he was like, I don't understand how people my age have children. I am children. When I tell you I was cracking up when he said that, that mess was funny because I was like, no, that's actually really real. I don't know how people have children right now. Like, I'd be sad if I had a child at this very moment. But yeah, so okay, so I think one thing that people in their 20s struggle with is feeling unqualified for different things. More so important things, I guess you could say, like different opportunities, job opportunities, career options, things of that nature. And I want to give a little example for myself because for those who don't know, I started writing music, I started writing songs, and a few months ago, and I feel like my songs are really good. I feel like some of them are actually great. I love them. I love them. And I feel like I just have the right ear for like good music. And yeah, I really enjoyed writing my songs. I really have. It kind of just happened. Not even kind of just happened. It literally just happened. I was just laying in bed one day, just watching what was it, TikTok. I was seeing these couples on TikTok, like couple videos, like these little edits of them, and I just started writing down my feelings about love because if you don't know, I love love. I'm a hopeful romantic, and I just started writing down how I felt, and I used AI to like sing it because this guy had told me about it, and I was like, oh. And I was just playing around with it at first, and then over time, I really enjoyed doing it, and it just became a thing for me. So I was like, I love this. So when I would make the songs, I would always send them to my mom, and she would love them and give me feedback and everything. And then I was like, I made overall, I put out 20 songs. I put out 20 songs altogether. I've written more. I still have some I need to finish actually. So I've written over 20 songs, but I've only published 20 songs. And almost all of them are about love because like I said, I love love. And yeah, so but I would send them to my mom and then over time I was like, I should put them out because I mean I made them, like why not let other people hear them, like I worked on it, why not let everybody else hear them too. So yeah, it literally just happened. And I would find myself like telling people, oh, I started writing music, and then somebody, who was it, this guy at my job, he said, so you're a songwriter? And I was like, I mean, I guess. And he was like, no, you're a songwriter. You wrote the songs. And I was like, yeah. And the thing was, it was like, I feel like I was having like imposter syndrome because even now to this day, that was when he said that, that was probably back in December. We're now in May. Um, Even now, it feels weird to call myself a songwriter. I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to say I'm a songwriter because I've only been writing songs for a few months and I'm still learning so much. You know, there's still a lot more for me to learn and understand and, you know, gain knowledge about and, you know, just try different things of, you know, just songwriting in general. And so I didn't feel like I was qualified enough to say, you know, I'm a songwriter, even though I have put in the work to actually write these songs and work on them. It just felt kind of weird because it's like you I feel like I don't really know what I'm doing. And I also don't want to get so in my head, like be too humble that I don't acknowledge the fact that I have a gift and a talent that could that I could do really well in and be so overly humble that it's like, well, you don't even acknowledge that this is a talent that you have, you know? And I don't want to be that person that, you know, kind of sleeps on their gifts and sleeps on like their talents and the things that God has blessed me with because if I can do it, I can do it. Like I said, I published 20 freaking songs and I feel like they're great. I have some that I like more than others, but still and yet. And, you know, I was feeling that. I was like, you know, I'm young. I just started. I don't really know I don't feel like I fully know what I'm doing yet. I'm still learning. I don't really feel like I'm qualified enough to say I'm a songwriter. But it's like I also don't want to be that person, like I said, that doesn't acknowledge what they can do. Because then it's like now you're talking yourself out of something that you clearly have. Like if you are, I don't know, like what's a good example? Like you're a painter. You might not be Leonardo da Vinci, but that doesn't mean that you're not gifted and talented in painting just because you haven't been painting for 50 years. That doesn't mean that your gifts and talents are minimized because you haven't been doing it for a million years. Don't make yourself feel like you're not talented enough to label yourself as a painter or as an artist or as a singer, a dancer, whatever, a songwriter. You know, I don't want to be that person, but at the same time, it feels like that. Like I just have that imposter syndrome. Like, am I really qualified enough to say I'm a songwriter? Like, girl, you are. But at the same time, it just feels weird saying it sometimes. But that's just my own thing I have to get over. But I feel like a lot of people in their 20s face that as well. They feel like they're too young. They're not qualified enough. They're not skilled enough. They're just coming out of college. So they don't have enough experience and enough life lessons to really label themselves as something. And in reality, it's like if you worked hard for it, why can't you say you're this? Even if you're not that great at it yet. Like, even if you're a rapper and you don't have your flow all the way there yet and you have to work on your breathing technique so when you rap you're not like out of out of breath every 5 seconds so you don't sound crazy on stage or when you rap your songs. That doesn't take away from the fact that you are a rapper because you're working on it, and that's just anybody. We don't just, well, some people are just naturally gifted in things, but other people have to work a little bit harder for certain things, but that doesn't take away from the talent that you do have, especially if you worked for it. So I feel like a lot of people in their 20s are facing that, and I myself am still currently facing that, but I also have to just get out of that mindset, I guess you could say. So, but yeah, that's one thing I see a lot of people facing as well. Also, I wanted to talk about the will to live. And I don't mean that in a crazy way, but I'm seeing more people, Gen Z, online speaking about they don't really have a will to live. And I wholeheartedly understand where they're coming from when they say that because don't get me wrong, everybody who's made those videos, I've seen a few of them, they've all said that they don't want to, you know, die. They don't want to be gone, like, you know, I don't know if I can say the word, but I don't know if I can say the word. I don't know the rules and regulations of YouTube that well when it comes to certain words, because everybody be acting like you can't say certain words or you're gonna get like flagged or something. So I hope you just see what I'm trying to say. Like you're picking up on it. They don't want to take themselves out of here basically. They don't want to do that, but it's like they also don't have a desire to keep going in the way that life has been going. And like I said, I wholeheartedly understand that. Because for me personally, I feel like when it comes to life in general, not just in your 20s, just in life, regardless of what age you are, I feel like one of the best things we can do is have something to look forward to. And for me right now, I have something coming up soon that I'm going to that I have to look forward to. You know, I'm gonna in my mind, I'm anticipating to have a good time. And it's coming up real soon. So that's what I had to look forward to at this current moment for me. And if I don't have anything like a trip planned or something like, special planned to do, I will just make little things that I enjoy doing. Like I enjoy getting my nails done. Do I enjoy sitting there while they do my nails? No, not much. It is what it is. But I enjoy having a new nail set. Like I enjoy looking on Pinterest for new nail ideas and colors and getting my nails done. I actually enjoy that because I like to see different colors on my nails. So that's something I enjoy. So when I don't have anything else to look forward to, I'll make up little things like I'm looking forward to getting my nails done next week or in 3 days or whatever the case may be. I really enjoy trying new things, so I always try to find classes in the city I live in. I did a spin art class. I did, what is it called? Paint and sip classes. I want to do a pottery class. I want to do a pasta making class. For my birthday 2 years ago, I did a perfume making class. So I like to try new things and do different classes with my friends. So that's something I look forward to as well when I have stuff like that planned. Even though it's not like a monumental thing, it's like, this is something enjoyable that I'm going to have to do. So for me, I think that one of the best things is to have something to look forward to, even if it is small. Like you, as long as you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And even if you just have a day off, you have something to look forward to. And I feel like I said, that's one of the best things to do, especially now in today's world, because there is so much going on, so much negativity going on. And I understand Gen Z, like I said, like I feel like I said this in the first video. We kind of got the short end of the stick when it came to society. We're in this time of everything's so expensive. People can't afford a house. My parents back in their 20s, like one of my cousins bought a house when she was 21, and a whole house, not like a little tiny house. She has a nice size house that she bought by herself in when she was 21. So it's not really like that in today's world unless you got money, unless you got it like that. And even then, the house might be tiny and be like $400,000, which is crazy, but whatever. So I feel like everything just being so expensive, like I said, food, what's it called? Food, travel, clothes, shoes, everything, like necessities, like housing, everything going out is so expensive. And we are working to basically give our check back to the economy. And then a lot of these jobs are not paying much. So then it's like you work all these hours to get a little paycheck that you got to get right back to the economy because you need food, you need housing, you need to pay your cell phone bill. If you have credit card bills, you have to pay that. Whatever other bills you have, you got to pay that too. So things add up over time, and it just feels like we're getting up every day to do the same thing and then give our money back to the economy. So it's like you get a check and you don't even really get to enjoy it because you have to pay bills at some point. And it's like the bills just keep coming. They don't never stop. So I feel like Gen Z is in that loop right now, and a lot of millennials as well. We're in that loop of just like get up, go to work, go to a job you don't even like, for real. Like I was there. I hated my job forever. For a long time, I hated my job. So I completely understand it. And you just keep going and doing the same thing. And you're just like waiting for something good to happen. And sometimes it feels like it's taking forever for something good to happen. And I don't mean something small good. I mean something like big good that's like going to change the trajectory of your life of where it's going at the current moment. And I feel like we're just in this loop of, like I said, doing the same thing over and over and over again. So that's why I said look forward to something. So even though you're in the loop of doing the same thing, at least you have something to look forward to every now and again or often. And so when people say they don't really have the will to live, I completely understand what they're saying, because it's like, do you really want to get up, go to a job you don't even like, get paid a little bit of money, and then put the money right back into the economy? And then you barely have money, or you don't have money to actually go out and enjoy your life. Like, you don't even have money to hang out with your friends. You don't have money to take a trip somewhere. You don't have money to do this. You don't have money to buy that purse that you saw after you worked so hard at your job. And it's like, what is the purpose of this? Like, why are we just having to keep doing this loop after loop after loop? And I don't even get to enjoy the money that I worked hard for. Like, why are we even doing this? Like, what's the point? So I completely understand what they say when they're saying like they don't have the will to live. I completely get it. Like, again, they're not saying that they want to die or anything, but at the same time, it's just like you don't really see the point of living the life that you are currently living, because you don't really see an out. If you saw a way out of it, it'd be like better. Like I said, like something to look forward to. Like 6 more months and I'm done. So at least you have a timeline of when to be done. If there's no timeline and you don't know when things are going to change, when things are going to get better, when things are going to be more enjoyable for your life and everything you worked hard for, it's kind of like, why am I here doing this every single day and not seeing any real outcome? I get a check and the check is gone in like 4 days because everything's so expensive. Like, I just saw this man on TikTok earlier talking about he bought food to make burgers. He said he bought like charcoal for the grill, ground beef patties, French fry, not French fries, but potatoes to make the French fries, oil for the fry the French fries, and I think like little condiments and stuff like that. He said it was $50. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. And he was like, we're cooked. Mind you, this is an older man. And he was like, we're cooked. Like, this is crazy. And I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, so imagine how people who don't make money, make a lot of money feel. You know, he said he makes a decent amount of money and he was flabbergasted. So imagine the people that are working for like $17 an hour, $19 an hour, $20 an hour, because $20 ain't nothing anymore, especially when you take taxes out of everything. It's like, ugh. Like, what's the point of this? So I completely understand what a lot of people are saying about the will to live. I get it. I get it. I get it. And the way they word it is perfectly, because I'm like, I'm feeling the same thing. And they just worded it the way, like, they took the words right out of my mouth. So I wanted to talk about that too. And also, hold on, I don't want to miss anything. Oh, also the fear of being behind, because I feel like this comes from social media though. I feel like a lot of us, not even just Gen Z, I'm gonna just say people in general, honestly, at this point. I feel like a lot of us feel like we're behind because we are comparing ourselves to people online. We see somebody else this in the same age group as us is doing way more in their life. And it makes us feel like, dang, I'm not doing enough. I should be doing more. And it can make you feel like you're not doing enough. You're not moving as much as you can. You're not hustling as much as you can. You're not working as much as you can. And at the same time, that's how you get burned out though. Because with everything, like I said, being so expensive, if you just work, and then you don't see any like big results, I guess you could say, it can burn you out. Like, ugh, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't want to do this anymore. And it can be a toll on your body, especially if you have a labor job. Like, if you have a labor job, kudos to you, because I know what it's like. It ain't nothing nice, especially when you're already like not in the mood. It can be a lot on your body, a lot of wear and tear on your body. So yeah, but feeling behind, I feel like it's catching up to a lot of people. Yeah, I felt that myself. I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like a lot of the things that I want, maybe not a lot. I feel like some of the things that I want that I don't have is because of myself. Is because of myself in certain circumstances in my life that aren't my fault, and then also God's timing. I feel like some of the things that I want, I'm not meant to have right now. Like maybe like I feel like I said this in the first video about traveling, and I said my top three countries were Japan, Egypt, and Italy right now, the ones I want to travel to the most at this current moment. Um, Maybe right now is not the time for me to travel to Japan. Maybe it'll be next year or 2 years from now, or hopefully it's not 2 years from now. Hopefully it's before that. But maybe maybe it'll be in a year. Maybe it'll be in 6 months. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Hopefully. Um, yeah, maybe it's just not the time to do it right now for whatever reason, because I don't know what the future holds. Only God does. So maybe the things that I want, I'm not meant to have at this time. So even if I try and try and try to go after the things that I want, I'm not going to get anywhere because it's not aligned with God's timing. So a lot of us are feeling behind, and in reality, we're not even meant to be in certain places because our timeline is not God's timeline. There are things that like I said, I want, but if it doesn't match up with what God has for me in those moments of my life, it's not gonna happen. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I know God's got me. And my timing is flawed. His timing is not. So I feel like in those moments when you feel like you're behind, something is scratching me. Oh my gosh. I feel like in those moments when you feel like you're behind, just try to remember that maybe it's not aligning the way you want it to because it's not meant to. Everything happens for a reason. Coincidences, not really likely. Most things aren't really coincidences. It's like, okay, it was supposed to happen that way. Um, but yes, a lot of things we want are just not in alignment with the timing that God has for us. So I just try to remember that when I feel behind, like maybe it's not me. Maybe it's God holding me back from something that maybe I'm not ready for. Like I want this, that, and the third, and maybe I'm not ready for it. Maybe I need to do more internal work on myself before I get this. So when I get it, I don't fumble it because I wasn't ready to have it in the first place. And God knows that. So He's not going to give me something that I'm not really ready for. I might think I'm ready for it, but in reality, I'm not ready for it. And I don't want to fumble it. And then it's like, it could have lasted 10 years, but then it only lasted 10 months because I decided to rush into something that wasn't meant to happen at this moment in my life. So when you feel behind, I feel like just remember that not everything is going to align the way you want it to. Like we make these plans and these vision boards for our lives, whether it's like at the end of the year and then we're going into the new year and you have all these plans and these what is it called, New Year's resolutions, and you want to check things off your bucket list. And even if it's not New Year's, just over time, you just have all these different plans for your life because everybody has something that they want in life, whether it's a trip, whether it's a career, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a marriage timeline or having a kid by this timeline or moving into your first house by this timeline or buying your dream car at this timeline. Just because you have a timeline doesn't mean it's going to work out the way you want it to. So sometimes I try to not put too much pressure on myself. So if I don't get what I want when I want it, I'm not so disappointed. So I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because at the end of the day, not everything is going to work out the way I want it to. Because if everything worked out the way I wanted it to, I would be a billionaire living in another country and having a different life than I currently have right now. I don't dislike my life, but I would change a lot of things about my life. So yeah, that's how I feel about the whole being behind situation. But it's easy to fall into that trap of feeling like you are behind because we do have social media like at our beck and call. All you have to do is open Instagram and see some girl or some guy living the life that you want, and it's like, well, dang, I want that to be me. So I get it, but and also remember, social media is fake. Like I have said this a million times, social media is fake. Not all of it. Some of the things people post are real and are really happening in their lives, but you would never really know how to like tell if it's real or not unless you actually know the person. And at that point, it's like, why are you analyzing somebody else's life anyway? It's not your business. It's not your job. Focus on yourself, and maybe you'll get to where they look like they're at. Yeah, that was pretty much everything I wanted to say. I feel like the realities, I don't know why I'm looking up there. I feel like that's the realities from part one and part two, the realities of living in your 20s in today's society. It's a lot. It's a roller coaster. I feel like your 20s is such a journey. Like, oh my gosh. It might sound a little corny, but it's like such a journey. So many different ups and downs, highs and lows. I've been in situations I thought I would never be in. I've had so many different encounters with so many different people of so many different age groups, learned so much, have so much more to learn. And I'm gaining a lot of different perspectives and just learning a lot more about myself. Like, I feel like I've always known who I am, but I'm always learning more about myself as well. And I feel like that's the best thing to do in your 20s, as I said in the first video. But yeah, your 20s is just, it can be a lot, but it is what you make of it. And one thing I can say, one piece of advice I can say for anybody in their 20s and just people in general, actually, try to stay positive, regardless of what your situation looks like, regardless of what your circumstances look like, regardless of how your life is looking at the current moment, whether it looks the way you want it to or not. The best thing I can think is to stay positive, because when you walk around being negative, it's like negativity follows you. Like, energy is a real thing, and what you say and what you do affects your life a lot. There is power in the tongue. So be very careful what you say. If you feel like, if you don't have a lot of money in your bank account, don't say you're broke, because that's how you end up being broke. Don't say you're this, that, and the third. And also, I want to say this for anybody who's in their 20s who's watching, please stop referring to yourself as like something negative. I see a lot of, I know it's a trend, but a lot of people are referring to young black men as YNs. And if you know, you know what that means. I don't think it's positive to do that. I don't think you should be doing that, referring to yourself as that, or referring to your little brother or your little cousin or, you know, whoever in your life. I don't think you should be referring to young black men as that, because it's like you're putting a target on their back to be referred to as something in a negative way. And like I said, your words have power. And the same thing on TikTok, it's a trend now as well. Girls are calling themselves a young hoe. They're like, oh, I hope I can say that word. They're saying like, I put on makeup before I go to work because I'm a young, you know. And I'm like, why are you referring to yourself as that? Like, you should never refer to yourself as such a derogatory term. Like, that is not, it's just so ignorant, and it's so sad, but that's the world we live in. But please stop referring to yourself as that. It's very ugly, it's very bad, it's very sad, and you're just speaking negativity over your life. Like, why would you refer to yourself as a hoe? Like, you don't want to be that. And what you say really does take over your life. So be more positive, like not just thinking positively, speaking positively. Even if you don't feel like you're rich, I walk around and say I'm a millionaire all day long. My bank account is fat in the future. It might not be right at this current moment, but it is in the future. So I'm speaking it into existence, which is basically just manifestation. So yeah, just be more positive and try to stay positive about your life, regardless of what your circumstances look like, because your life can change in a second. Your life, I've heard so many people say that, and I've seen it as well. People, their lives can change in like this. You don't know how or when God will bless you with something that you've been wanting. God just blessed me with something the other day. It's private, so I'm not going to say what it is, but you just never know when God is going to come through for you. You just never know when he's going to bless you with something, an opportunity, more money so you could pay your bills and actually buy something that you want, or go somewhere that you want to go, or take a vacation, or whatever the case may be. Actually enjoy your life, because life shouldn't just be work, 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 work. You should be able to enjoy your life too. But yeah, you just never know when God is going to bless you with whatever it is that you're asking for. So be more positive, stay rooted in God, and just remember that hard times are building you. They're not meant to hurt you. They're building you. Actually, I want to pull up that scripture, because I think it's Romans 5:3-5, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, yeah. So Romans 5:3-5. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. Exactly. Hard times are not meant to break us, they're meant to build us. And even though it looks hard and it feels hard and it might feel insufferable at times, just always know all of that will go away. All of that will go away. When you feel grief, well, again, one day you'll feel happy. When you feel sad, you'll feel happy again. When you're angry and you're no longer angry, you'll laugh again at some point. It doesn't stick around forever. So if you're struggling right now in your 20s, or even if you're not in your 20s, regardless of what it is in your life, just know that it's going to get better. And just stay rooted in God, because you just never know when He might bless you with more than what you asked for. Not even what you asked for, but more than what you asked for. God works in mysterious ways, and He will definitely surprise us. Okay. So, yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you later. Love you. Bye.